So TLC is finally over with, and I was honestly expecting The Undertaker to show up and attack AJ Styles after the show. Didn't happen, unfortunately, to build up for the eventual clash at Royal Rumble because that's the big rumor going around. Glad it didn't happen. Part of me is kind of glad it didn't happen, but I was expecting something to end the show on a big shock factor, at least, or something like a shock factor for the audience to go crazy with. But I was kind of glad that that didn't happen. I'll get to that when I get to the main event. So, okay, I had a lot of problems with my internet, so my WWE Network stream was down for a bit. So I missed most of the pre-show, and I honestly did not give a damn about the 10-man tag team match. What I'm trying to wonder is, why is American Alpha and Apollo Crews in this match? Like, American Alpha, let's see, they went from being an NXT Tag Team Champions to lasting the title for less than a month, or at least, I think, 2 months. And then all of a sudden, they're now on the pre-show? Yeah, okay. Like, I've already accepted the Vaudevillains and the Ascension never getting out of this problem. Kurt Hawkins, who cares about that guy? And Apollo Crews, they keep saying he's a future star, he's the next big thing. And yet, he's not getting anything. And plus, no one cares about the hype bros. Let's be honest about that. So yeah, I didn't really have much interest in this 10-man tag team match. It was shoehorned in at the last minute, so yeah, like, it was okay. Definitely lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, but ultimately we all know what was gonna happen. The good guys win, the bad guys lose. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's get to the actual show. The Wyatt family versus Heath Slater and Rhino, also known as Beauty and the Man Beast, for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Wyatt family won in less than 6 minutes. Now, I could complain about the fact that this match didn't last as long as I hoped it would, but okay, and the saddest thing is, I don't know is that Heath Slater did not get any chance to do that big shining moment for him in that match. So I thought he was gonna be the one taking the fall. Like, I was glad Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton won, but I was really expecting Heath Slater to be the one that takes the fall, not Rhino. So that was a little surprising. But I was so happy for Bray Wyatt. He finally won a championship. This is his first championship in the WWE main roster. Well, if you count his time in FCW back when it was still around before they rebranded into NXT, then you could count that. But really, WWE never acknowledged FCW much. So yeah, this is Bray Wyatt's first official title in WWE, and I was so happy. Randy Orton, oh, that's like his. How many titles has he had so far in his career? It's just another staple to him. But for Bray Wyatt, it means something. Like, I was so glad that Bray Wyatt won this title. I've been waiting for Bray Wyatt to win a title in WWE. I would have preferred him to win the world title, but beggars can't be choosers, sadly. But at least he got a title. And along with that, like, I always envisioned Bray Wyatt cutting a promo holding the WWE title one day and just setting it on fire for some reason. I always picture that. Like, Bray Wyatt would say, I have no use for such cheap toys that you people call championships in the WWE, that he only wants to conquer the world pretty much in his men. Mostly want to mind control the world in his mind. And he burns it. I would have loved, I don't know why, but I would have loved a promo if they did that. But I know they're not going to do that because, one, that would be a waste of a title, and two, they wouldn't really burn a title nowadays since. In fact, when was the last time they burned a title? I believe it was JBL burning the U.S. Championship when Cena had it in a spinner form. I think that was it. Like all the other times, they just threw it in the river, they just buried it in the dirt, they ultimately did those two things, or threw it in the trash, but they never really destroyed a belt. Well, at least until JBL happened, and then his feud with John Cena was going on. So I was glad the Wyatt family, specifically Bray Wyatt, winning the tag team titles, and now they're being built up as a threat to everybody else. Like I said in my previous video regarding the build up to TLC, are they building the Wyatt family up because they want to put Bray Wyatt over, or are they building him up just so he can lose to Randy Orton? Because WWE's confident, because my confidence with WWE creative, even on SmackDown with the Wyatt family, has been, oh god, why? Like, I would have preferred if Bray Wyatt ended the streak. I would have preferred if Bray Wyatt beat The Undertaker in a passing of the torch match. I would have preferred all these kinds of things that they could have went with Bray Wyatt, but they chose not to because of politics, ego, and stupid creative decisions, like, say, John Cena. And we all know how that worked out. And then there was his feud with Chris Jericho. That pretty much helped no one. Like even though he won the feud, I think. And then there was his feud with Ryback, which pretty much was pointless. It would have been interesting, but it just ended after one match. So now Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton looks like they're going to have the tag team titles for a while. I'm speculating, like I said, until at least Elimination Chamber, since that's been said to be the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. So I'm guessing that he's gonna drop the belt. He's gonna drop the tag team belt there, build up a feud with Randy Orton down the road, and we get a singles match between the two at WrestleMania. So I can't wait for that. So now let's get to Nikki Bella versus Carmella, which was surprisingly the worst match of the night, and that match was 2 minutes longer than the tag team match. So the tag team title match. Nikki Bella and Carmella, they had an opportunity to tell a bloody war, and they didn't. They would look like they were going to go there, but then they just stopped halfway through. And then it ended awkwardly, like, is the feud over with? Like, Carmella's saying, like, I think it's over. Carmella, like, there's a fire extinguisher Nikki Bella uses to defeat Carmella, which was anticlimactic. So, yeah, one of the perks of being in a relationship with John Cena is, oh, I don't have to put any effort into this. Much. And I really wanted Carmella to win this match, not because in storyline terms it would make sense that Nikki Bella would win, but because it would be a huge boost for Carmella to defeat Nikki Bella clean on pay-per-view. Like, she kind of beat her clean with a submission move, but they keep using the neck injury as an excuse. Yeah, just like they did with Daniel Bryan versus John Cena at SummerSlam. But anyways, as I was saying, Carmella cuts a promo at the end saying that it wasn't her that attacked Nikki Bella at Survivor Series, that it was Natalya, thereby confirming to the reporters that they were correct once again. And Natalya denies these accusations, even though she was the only woman left out in backstage that wasn't competing. Like, you could say Eva Marie, but she hasn't been seen since she got suspended. Or is vacationing, as the corporate management likes to say. So anyways, yeah, Nikki Bella and Carmella, the worst match of the night and the most disappointing one. So now let's get to what many people thought was going to steal the show, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. Okay, I was saying that this match was probably going to steal the show. Well, it would have to compete with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, though. So, Miz and Dolph Ziggler, they gave it their all in this match. It was a B-plus match, according to Ryan Delbert of Bleacher Report. And I was looking forward to the story ending, not because it was being overplayed, but because I would like to see where this goes next for Miz, because I knew he was going to retain the title since, well, you know, SmackDown likes to take more chances than Raw ever would, except if it comes to Roman Reigns. And Miz defeating Dolph Ziggler through 2 low blows. Yeah, that happened. And I'm not complaining about that. Like, this is the Miz we're talking about. And he didn't rely on Maurice this time, so Dolph Ziggler can't make that argument. In fact, he might congratulate The Miz for not using his wife to win the match. Maurice mostly just stood on the sidelines, like she was showing concern for her husband, because there were times I thought Miz was actually hurt and Dolph Ziggler was actually hurt. Like, they looked like they were legitimately hurt in this match. Like, I get it's a ladder match and this is a physical contact sport, but like, I'm talking about legitimately injured. So that's the price that you have to pay when you have to fight in a ladder match or a high sports match or a TLC match. But, well, what can you do? So, Miz decides to use a figure 4 leg lock on Dolph Ziggler using the ladder, which I thought was, okay, that's actually kind of interesting. I don't recall Ric Flair ever doing that. So, I'm like, I know other wrestlers use the figure 4 leg lock, but who do you really think of when you think of the figure 4 leg lock? Yeah, I thought so. So, it looked like Dolph Ziggler was going to win, but then The Miz came out, like I said, did 2 low blows, and then afterwards got the title, and then cut a promo against Daniel Bryan, saying he dedicates this win to Daniel Bryan. Like, prior to this match, they had a backstage confrontation where Miz says that he wished it was Bryan he was facing in this match, and ultimately, we all know that was never going to happen ever again. And I would have paid to see Daniel Bryan versus Miz because, well, it makes a lot of sense storyline-wise because they have been having butting heads for the last several months since Talking Smack episode 3, I think. So, yeah. It would make sense logic-wise, but health-wise, it would be a disaster idea. So, yeah. Miz defeats Dolph Ziggler. I'm speculating that he's either going to drop the belt till either WrestleMania or the day after. I would have preferred if he kept the belt this entire time and had Dolph Ziggler retired, because, let's be honest, that would have given Miz a lot of heat. And plus, it only lasted for 2 weeks when Dolph Ziggler won, so they might as well have just went with Ziggler leaving the WWE. That would have given Miz a lot of heat. But they didn't. So, okay. Now, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, they didn't have a really good, the best ladder match. It wasn't really the best match of the night. I was hoping it would be, but nope. It was the second best in my opinion. And the third best match is what surprised me. I'll get to that in a moment. But, they did the best they could to make this the show stealer, but you had to fight AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose to get that spot, so at least you tried. The third best match of the night, however, was a shocker. Baron Corbin versus Kalisto in a chairs match. I live in a world where that is considered a top contender for a match of the night. They go with David versus Goliath storyline. Baron Corbin looking like a monster. Kalisto looking like the warrior trying to destroy this towering giant. And it was honestly good. This is probably my favorite chairs match. In fact, this is the only good chairs match. Like, if you live in a world where John Cena can't make a chairs match look good, or The Undertaker and Batista, yeah, that's probably going to be a problem. And I'm pretty sure John Cena's pissed that he couldn't get a good match with Wade Barrett on that. But moving on. Baron Corbin was dominant in this match. Kalisto was great in this match as well. This was probably Kalisto's best singles match since his Cruiserweight match with Brian Kendrick. Though, of course, like I said, I would have preferred if the Cruiserweights moved to SmackDown Live for a variety of reasons. God. So, anyways, Baron Corbin, like, he grabs a steel chair and, like, tries to smash it on Kalisto's skull, and he's just dodging it, trying to get last ounce of energy in, and it's just awesome. Like, everything about this match was great. Like, this was probably the best chairs match ever. And like I said, Undertaker, Batista, John Cena, you three are like the top guys of that back then, and you couldn't get a good match out of a chairs match. And the Undertaker's probably one of the best big men ever made. Yeah, that's saying something. So sadly, I have to be the one to say that Baron Corbin might have to enjoy this moment because he's gonna most likely be buried by Royal Rumble because it's rumored that he's gonna fight John Cena. You know how that is, unless John Cena's movie commitments decide to ruin that, which I hope it does. Because even though Baron Corbin can use great momentum from beating John Cena, we all know that's never going to happen. Like, the closest is he'll get probably one match in and they'll use some excuse and then ultimately just let him drop the belt. Not drop the belt, like lose the match and lose the feud, and like John Cena moves on to fight the WWE champion. I'll get to that in a moment when I get to the main event. So Baron Corbin and Kalisto had, like I said, a great TLC match, and this video is longer than that match, so that's saying something. So, yeah, I was generally surprised by that. So that's the surprise moment of the pay-per-view. Now let's get to Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Okay, my favorite tables matches was horrendously broken when, quite literally, when I saw John Cena versus Seth Rollins. Okay, I'm not really crying. I really hate that match. Like, with a passion. I'll probably talk about that one day, but I just hate that match between Seth Rollins and John Cena. That was probably the worst tables match I ever saw. And I'll explain that one day, but yeah. Worst match I ever saw. But moving on. Alexa Bliss defeats Becky Lynch. I was surprised by that. I was really thinking Becky Lynch was going to win this match, especially how the night ended with Becky Lynch being toppled by Alexa Bliss, and their names kind of rhyme together. So expect me to get tongue-tied. So, yeah, Alexa Bliss winning. Like, this is going to be interesting. Like, this is an intriguing route, like Ryan Delbert said. I'm curious as to know, how are they going to move forward with this? Are they going to continue a feud, or are they, since this match ended pretty clean and no controversy, or are they going to do a redemption storyline for Becky Lynch? Like, this is a good experiment with Alexa Bliss to run with the title this early into her career on the main roster. Like, she never really won the women's title in NXT, which, looking at it now, is kind of disappointing. Like, I didn't care for Alexa Bliss that much back then, but when I started seeing her on the main roster, she was thriving a little bit. And then Blake and Murphy time during that in NXT, I started getting a little bit interested. But her time on the main roster, specifically SmackDown, has really given her ample opportunity to thrive. And she was really doing well in this feud, but you kind of feel like, yeah, this feud probably could have been a lot better if Becky Lynch was allowed to talk a lot. If she was given time to talk. Because we know that Kevin Dunn and the writers that agree with Kevin Dunn, or suck up to him, prejudice against Becky Lynch because, oh, she has a thick Scottish accent. Therefore, she has earned our hatred. Wait. Yeah, that's pretty much the reason why we don't want to give her promo time. It's because she's Scottish accent. Because she clearly could control her own accent. Like, I get, like, Lana can speak with a Russian accent, and Kofi Kingston could try to talk through a Jamaican accent, but, like, come on, you can't hate somebody because they have a different accent, like we have the rest of society to do the discrimination. But you're going to discriminate against an employee because their voice sounds different than someone else's. Okay, just say she's NXT girl, therefore you hate her because she's a Triple H project. Because that would make more sense than just saying, oh, I don't like her because she's Scottish. So, Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch, they were given half the time as to AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose, at clocking in at 15 minutes and 16 seconds, which really shows the power of the women's evolution. But I'm moving on. Alexa Bliss defeats Becky Lynch without any controversy whatsoever, any cheating whatsoever, without any of that, and she becomes women's champion of SmackDown. So it'll be interesting where they're going to take this next and how Alexa Bliss is going to hold on to that title. So, and Becky Lynch really showed that she was down and whatnot. She really conveyed that, though, once again, it feels kind of hollow because I know for a fact that the only reason why she's not talking is because Kevin Dunn is silencing her. Because she's a Scottish woman. Because she has a thick Scots accent. So really, it's hard to, for me at least, to get kind of invested because they're silencing her because of her accent. That's really depressing. Like, I know I've been on a tangent on that, but like, I'm not letting that go. Not until Kevin Dunn lets it go. So now we get to the main event. The Icon versus Icon. Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, versus AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, for the WWE World Championship in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. What did you think was going to happen? Like, AJ Styles can make any match look great. He's probably up there with Daniel Bryan, Bret Hart, and kind of, well, I think, and Shawn Michaels when it comes to making any guy look good in the ring. Like, I'm at that point where I think he's at that level. Seth Rollins is almost there, but until he can get a good match for Kane, that's the ultimate proving point, then he still needs some practice. And also John Cena. So, AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose ends with AJ Styles winning, and James Ellsworth gets involved, and, okay, they're gonna turn him heel. Like, they're gonna do a red herring on us, and they're gonna turn him heel. Yeah, oh, look, he turned heel. Or at least he's gonna say, well, I did it because I beat AJ Styles 3 times, so I think I have a better chance fighting him than I do with my buddy Dean Ambrose. Well, was my former buddy, but, yeah. And that's gonna be a problem because, okay, I know what WWE's trying to do with James Ellsworth. He's supposed to be embodying a fan's dream. Every fan's dream of being a wrestler and being in that ring. Like, they feel like they can relate to James Ellsworth. Looked down upon because, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. You're not allowed to be this. You can't be that. You're not going to be a star looking like that. And he could become a star. But I think WWE, specifically guys in upper management, don't like the fact that he's selling more merchandise than Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar. Also John Cena. So they turned him heel so they can cut his merchandise sales. I would not be surprised if that was the case. Because I can't think of the logic here where James Ellsworth is a heel. Like they could say that AJ Styles talked a lot of sense into him, or they found footage of Dean Ambrose mocking Ellsworth behind his back. But other than those two options, and really the first option is really out of control because AJ Styles has bullied and victimized him. So really, that wouldn't work either. So not only did they just embody what every fan's dream can live through this guy, they've also installed their WWE logic because all form of logic is thrown out the window with James Ellsworth. Nothing will work with this angle. They could try. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt if they could do it, But when I'm looking at it face first right now, it seems like they just wanted to cut his merchandise sales because, oh, he's a bad guy now because um okay, have him do this, okay, and because he's a heel, and the heels don't get that much money as opposed to a good guy. We need children to not like James Ellsworth so we can not have more money. Wait, yeah, that's logical, logical. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna exactly happen with this. Like, they still have a title match to happen soon, and I was really thinking Undertaker was gonna come out and choke slam AJ Styles. I gotta also add, there kind of might have been a botch in the match regarding AJ Styles because he kind of ripped his trunks. He ripped his pants a little bit, so I could have sworn people were laughing in the audience seeing AJ Styles with that hole behind him. So, yeah, and the fans were chanting Undertaker because they wanted to see their hometown guy come back and kick AJ Styles' ass so they can do the match at WrestleMania. Well, at least that's the ideal dream. The real dream is the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, I was kind of glad Undertaker didn't show up to start his feud with AJ Styles, but I'm hoping that they change their minds on that because here's the plan that I've heard repeatedly over and over again. Undertaker fights AJ Styles, beats him, wins the world title, gets one more run with that belt, which I'm all for, but here's the end result that is really questioning. It kind of sets everything back regarding the new era. Undertaker is literally going to hand the WWE belt to John Cena. Oh, God. Let's see if I get this straight. Because the streak is dead, they need to find another reason for Undertaker to lose. So, yeah, John Cena, you can beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, okay? Okay. I would rather have seen The Undertaker win the title at WrestleMania against AJ Styles and then retire the next night. That would have capped off the career, but no. He has to make John Cena look really strong. He needs to inspire hope for the future for giving a star who's been the top for the last 10 years. Maybe 13. Hold on. 2003, 2004, 2005. 11 years. It has been 11 years of his 15-year career on the WWE. So, and who has main evented multiple WrestleManias, who has main evented shows upon shows, who has won title after title, matching up to 15 titles. And I actually had a conversation with an employee at work about John Cena being pretty much handed the 16 belt for him to surpass Ric Flair's legacy is, okay, my fellow coworker said that idea was fucking stupid and said, like, why can't Ric Flair keep something that's a part of his legacy intact? And I kept saying, oh, because John Cena has an ego. And along with that, the other reason is because WWE hates anything they don't own. So they don't own the 16-time legacy like they say that he does, because Ric Flair wasn't their homegrown talent. John Cena is. Like, they could do that with Roman Reigns, but that would be horribly wrong. Like, the only two guys I saw potentially surpassing Ric Flair's title reigns would be Triple H and Randy Orton. Maybe Batista had he still wrestled. But John Cena, like, I get he's done a lot for WWE, but really, half of those title reigns were transitional. And the last part of Ric Flair's 16 Legacy reign was, okay, that was WCW 2000, and that was really pathetic. But he earned that through 20 years of work, whereas John Cena's just been given only a few long title reigns, and then most of the rest being transitional. Like, okay, hold the belt, then just give it to this guy. So really, I don't see how this is going to work for fans. I'm pretty sure they'll be all. I'm pretty sure some will be all for it, but the other part doesn't want to see another John Cena title reign where he comes in and screams the champ is here and goes Superman on everybody, then loses the belt at SummerSlam, and then wants to get the belt back so he can surpass Ric Flair's title reign. So, yeah, I'm like. Please, for the love of God, don't do this angle. Don't do this. So, yeah. So, anyways, AJ Styles vs. Dean Ambrose, to me, was the match of the night. And Nikki Bella and Carmella was the worst match. And that's disappointing. I live in a world where Baron Corbin and Kalisto is considered one of the best matches. Yeah. So, anyways, that was my thoughts on WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs TLC. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.